the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We carried in our newscast this morning the 9 who escaped lockup. They're all back in custody. And I've not heard any reports of any confrontation. I think we reported that the last of the 9 turned himself in. So, congratulations, JCF, and congratulations too to the people who have the confidence in the JCF to make the call. Because the intelligence just doesn't come out of thin air. People had to call. There's a report of one of them, I believe the 8th man was held at the premises of his common law spouse. And she's been charged with harboring a fugitive. And they took the time in the news item to remind us of our duties, no matter how close the person is to us. They come to you for security. You rub them down nicely, put them in the bed, and the next thing go call the police. Let the police come and find them sleeping in beautiful peace, because that is part of your social responsibility. Because if you don't do that, you will have a charge to which you need to answer. This is the hotline. 876-926-2178. Okay. This person, this is Dayton Campbell, just messaged me saying someone needs to clarify some stuff on hotline with Emily Shields today. She's saying she heard you say the PNP will be building 6,000 houses, and that was just said after the PNP's manifesto was released, and that came after the Prime Minister said it at halfway through. I've been hearing this at all parish meetings from Floyd Morris and other MP aspirants long before the manifesto and the JLP halfway through rally. From March, we have said we'll be building 50,000 low-income houses. Dr. Campbell, whenever you can, I'd love to talk with you some more about it. Right? Because what I heard you say is you have put in your manifesto that you're going to build 6,000 houses. And in fact, I'm going to play the clip of what I heard you say yesterday about it. And I certainly may have missed, if you said it, if Floyd Morris said it in any of these rallies and so forth, I may have missed that. And frankly, I do listen and watch a lot of the constituency meetings. I may have missed them. But more importantly, does it come over in your document? Because there are other things that were said before that haven't made it over in the document, which is the manifesto, and the manifesto light has not yet come back. Yeah? But I'll play what you said, and I'd be happy to have you. I'll be happy to have you on. 876-926-2178, 926-8631, 926-7615, 888-991-2080. All right. This is John.
Hi, good morning.
Morning to 178. Who is not John? Who is this?
No, it's not John. I'm sure John is going to call.
Huh?
I'm sure John will call, but this is not John.
Yes. Who is it?
Damian is the name.
Yes.
You some time ago you interviewed the Minister of Transport, Minister Vaz, and he explained the nature of the Rural School Bus Program.
Yes.
I would hope that you interview Mr. Crawford, opposition spokesperson on education, because he has outlined the nature of the RIDE program in other places. Now, I did
in fact, Dayton Campbell was to come and talk with me about it. But after he actually spoke with me and said he wanted to come on, but whichever of them is fine. But go ahead and make the point.
Great. I'd love for you to ask him a few questions, because I did an analysis based on the numbers both parties have put up. So the government's proposal includes 110 buses at a cost of $1.4 billion.
Hold on a second. This is the first phase. Hold on a second. Let me just take your name. You said your name is what again?
Oh, Damien.
Damien, let me take your numbers. Let me write down a detailed thing of what you're saying. So they've 110 buses?
Yes, in the first phase, 110 buses at a cost of $1.4 billion, inclusive of an agreement for servicing and all of that stuff. The PNP's proposal is targeting 20,000 students at 500 a day, and it's 190 days in the school year. So when you do that calculation, it's $1.9 billion.
For the year?
For the year.
For the 190 days, yes.
Right. Now, if the government is supposed to add to the fleet, say they add to the fleet another 110 buses at an average cost of 1.4 over a term, that would be $7 billion.
If they add how many?
Another 110 at an average cost of 1.4 billion a year.
Yes.
That would be $7 billion over a term of government. That's 5 years.
Okay, so hold on.
So they would end up having...
Hold on, 1.4 times 5, that is 7?
1.4 billion, yes, times 5, that's 7, yes.
7 billion, and we would have 550 buses.
Correct.
But you have to inflate it a little bit, because what the buses cost now, it may not be so next year.
Correct.
Or
so we can add probably a 10% or 20% on that. When you look at what the opposition is proposing, a 1.9 billion spent targeting 20,000 students. If they were to target the same 20,000 next year at the same 1.9, and for 5 years do the same 20,000 at 1.9, that would amount to 1.9 billion times 5, which is $9.5 billion.
Without any physical infrastructure.
Without any asset, physical infrastructure. And with this uncertainty of having these bus operators and taxi operators maintain $500, providing the services for the same cost as well. So you'd have to also increase the amount that would cost, because over time, I'm sure the cost of transporting the kids would increase. So I'm saying, I'd love for you to have a discussion with Mr. Campbell or Mr. Crawford to explain in terms of the sustainability of their proposal, bearing in mind that that's only impacting 20,000 students.
No, Damien, I don't think it would only impact the 20,000. What about the benefit to the taxi drivers who have families? Yes.
Very good point. So the taxi drivers would benefit in terms of the income earned.
Yes, and the local economy would benefit because they'd have money from that to spend in the shops and supermarkets where they live.
Right, so that is a secondary outcome. The primary focus of the system, the RIDE program, is to ensure that our students in rural communities are transported to school in a safe and reliable way. Now, if that is the primary outcome, and the 20,000 is going to be your target number, you have to try and increase that from 20,000 annually in order to have the greatest impact on the population. Yes. So while your secondary outcome may be something to champion, your primary outcome is still not being met. And that's when we look at policy, we have to make sure that policy is centered in its first target group, and then the spin-offs are equally beneficial to others.
Yes.
So I would love for you to have a discussion with Mr. Crawford or Mr. Campbell, in terms of explaining the sustainability of their proposal.
Yeah, but then the other thing, Damien, what I'm not quite sure about is when I watched the PNP manifesto launch, I heard Mikhail Phillips, who is really the opposition spokesman on transport, saying that the PNP is not opposed to a rural transport system per se. So it looks to me, and that's the problem, where one is not clear on exactly what the policy position is, because depending on which spokesperson you get something else. Is it that they're proposing a hybrid where you do have a rural transport service but not with recommissioned buses, plus this other thing where they engage taxi drivers? Hold on, Damien, let me take a break. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. So just before I come to Damien, I found a portion of the interview that Dr. Dayton Campbell did with Dion yesterday concerning the housing and what has been proposed in the manifesto. And that is the background for the comment I made. Here is part of the discussion yesterday.
We still have a manifesto light to come because we didn't put out all our proposals. So we still have a manifesto light that will come, that will summarize some of the things that are in the longer manifesto, and will come with some new ideas that I'm excited about myself, and I'm sure other persons will find them exciting and appealing.
What's the idea there, to wait till the JLP puts out its manifesto and then come with what you're calling your manifesto light? Is that what you're doing?
Because we know what they're going to do. We say we're building 50,000 houses. They're going to come and say they're going to build 60,000. So we didn't.
Yes. So that's the point. Dr. Dayton Campbell said, we said we're going to build 50,000 houses, and we know that they will come to say they're going to build 60. So my point is, I'm sure I heard Andrew Holness, certainly the last time, on the night of the 10th of August. The 10th of August in Halfway Tree, saying they're going to build 60,000 houses already. They said it. Yeah? Anyway, Damien?
Yes, Michelle. Right. So it would be nice to hear somebody from the PNP clarify the sustainability component relative to what the government has proposed. Now, if the PNP comes into government, they would have 110 buses already purchased by the current administration, and I'm sure they wouldn't just park them.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
They would find ways of using them. So,
but what if they're doing the hybrid? As I said, I heard Mikhail Phillips said that was always the intention.
Well, that would be good, and if that is the approach, then that needs to be costed.
Well, in fact, Damien, come to think of it, they have to do the hybrid because we now have a hybrid. We already have 7,000 students for whom money is being paid, the PATH
students,
and we now have the buses, so we do have a hybrid situation.
Correct. I don't know if I can ask one more thing of you. The newly proposed no tax on overtime. So the threshold, the tax threshold, income tax threshold, has been moved to 1.8 million. The largest grouping of persons who benefit from overtime are persons who work in the services industry, like security guards, for example. And we have about 30,000 of those persons, security guards. Now, the average security guard at the entry level makes about 1.2 million a year. At the senior level, about 1.7. And this includes allowances and benefits. So currently, most security guards don't pay income tax.
What is your background in all of this? How you know this?
Because I'm a social scientist. I've been working in social development all my life. Well, most of my life.
Okay.
So you know, I have reason to do some research.
Right.
The taxation, Jamaica's taxation system really and truly needs liberalization. So any move on the part of any administration to look at taxation is good. The movement of the threshold initially to 1.5 and then what is proposed to go to 2 million in 2 years will significantly benefit that sector, the services sector, because a lot of those people earn under $1.8, $2 million. When you start going above that, you find that that is no management level. And managers don't usually benefit from overtime in the way that persons at that level benefit from overtime. What we really need to have is a conversation around taxation and a move away from the income tax as a whole, which I've not seen the JLP or the PNP articulate a clear position on, so that there is more monies available for people to spend, and then you use indirect taxation to generate the kind of income to continue running the country.
Which is what was recommended many years ago by the IMF. But I think this is the movement to indirect. But I think when the debt goes to much lower than 60% of GDP, we're up on about 62 or so coming up.
Right.
Then we can countenance taking away more income tax or removing it completely. Because at the moment, if we do that, then the hole that will be presented, I don't know how it would be filled.
Right. So this is the question I would love for you to ask if you get a chance to.
Yes.
Based on the calculations of the opposition, how much will it actually cost in terms of income for removing tax on overtime? What is the dollar figure? And how many persons practically will stand to benefit from removing the tax on overtime vis-a-vis an increasing of the tax threshold to a level that covers those people and benefits others also who won't pay tax up to that level?
So the removal on tax, I'm actually trying to find the proposal. The removal on tax for overtime is for those who earn 6 million. What's the 6 million figure? There's a 6 million figure there, a sort of KPI.
For those who earn under 6 million.
For those who earn under 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm saying invariably, people who earn between about 3 million, 2.5 million to 6 million are usually in a category of work that does not access overtime. Overtime is usually given to persons who work at a certain level in the organization. Managers don't get overtime, generally speaking. So I would love to know what is the calculation in terms of the real benefit, the real
and
benefit.
the numbers.
Right. Because that makes a difference if we can appreciate and understand.
Yes.
In the same way the tax threshold benefits everybody,
yes.
When the tax threshold moves, everybody benefits. Because your first 1.8 million is untaxed.
Yes.
Income tax. And then the other portions are subject to tax. So that's the question.
Right. But then the other thing is, you started at security guards when you approached the second subject, but aren't there other categories of workers such as nurses?
Hotel workers, security guards, persons who work in the medical field.
Yes.
Right. So I'm saying there is going to be a benefit. The question is the benefit will the benefit be as impactful as moving the threshold to 2 million, 3 million? You understand?
Right.
Because anything proposed to reduce income tax is good, but it must be relative to what is being proposed or what already exists.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. We'll see if we can get those answers, Damien. So you say you're a social scientist?
Yes.
Is there any aspect of the manifesto, of the PNP manifesto, that you think is sort of revolutionary thinking?
Yeah, I think their focus on housing is something that is long overdue. The reduction of the 60-year...
Which aspect of the focus on housing you think
the
you like?
law that currently exists that requires persons to exist on crown lands for at least 60 years.
Yes. Moving it down to 25.
Yeah, when Mr. Cousins made that presentation in the Parliament, I thought that was really forward thinking.
But then the other thing I wonder, Damien, is whether do you get the impression that if a law like that is passed, that they intend for it to have a retrospective effect, so that those now living on crown land from, let's say, the last 25 years will benefit? Or is it as laws of now from here into the future?
Well,
do you know?
The legislators would have to look at that in terms of when that law would be effective as act retroactively. I think what can be done is that there are clauses that are put in when you work beyond the law now. When you put in the regulation, you have clauses that are put in. The land agency and other agencies who work in that area can help to guide that from a policy standpoint. But
so you think those residing on crown land now and for a long time, they should have the benefit of the law, in that the law should reach back and apply to them?
Yes.
Okay.
For it to be effective.
Yes.
Right? So that's one area that I think is good. I'm not so sure on the conversation about the rent to own, because I think invariably you're targeting low-income persons. And if the NHT is going to be used to make homes for that target market, the rent rate would have to match the mortgage rate. Because what they will be paying in the first instance for rent, you have to maintain that as the mortgage amount. You can't now raise that on them when they move from rent to own. And what is proposed is a 6-month period of paying rent to prove that you can pay your mortgage.
Yes.
So
yes,
it creates its own challenge if the income of the person does not move.
Right.
And the mortgage moves up from what the rental amount is. So that would have to be worked out. I get what the thinking is, but in terms of its practicality, there might be issues around.
Well, I understand from NHT, having asked this because I have a segment in the program every Friday, and I've been made to understand that the rent to own is now part of the suite that is offered to mortgagors, not are often taken up because so many other things are more enticing and available for people to use without having to do the rent to own. So I think I still need to flesh through with them exactly how it happens now, because I did hear Mr. Cousins on the 6 months rent, but I really don't know how it converts from rent into the person being a mortgagor with demonstrating ability to pay rent for only 6 months. But I thank you so much for the call, Damien. All right.